I want to definitely talk about the with distribution,
Yeah.
because I think from what I understand, Sonic Onion's got the digital future, right? Like,
Sonic Onion has a direct account with Apple, with iTunes, in Canada. So we distribute a number of labels digitally. Sonic Onion, Profound Lore Records, Forward Music Group. There's deals done with individual bands, like the band Alenka and the Autumn Lovers from London, and we were doing Walk Off the Earth until their Gautier single started selling 70,000 downloads a week. But we did the Sheepdogs, the last record, Learn and Burn. We had the digital distribution for that until they won the Rolling Stone contest. So we deal direct with Apple. There's one person in the office that is in touch with them pretty much every day. So yeah, it's digital has definitely, as far as iTunes has become a really big part of what retail is now. There's a lot of people that I think have never gone into a CD store. They don't buy vinyl, they don't buy CDs, they just buy the downloads of the albums and have it on their computers to put on their iPhones and their iPods. And I mean, fair enough, it's convenient. It means you don't have to leave your house. And it's still a way for people to enjoy music.
kids today don't know what it's like though to take their hard-earned money, you know, from chores and run down to the record shop. And
No. I'm a bit older than you, I think. I started buying records in 1983. And yeah, I used to cut grass and then go to Woolworths or Kmart or wherever in the small town I lived, and I would buy records. And that's kind of the way that I always did it. And I know from personal experience, from cousins I have, from nieces and nephews, between the ages of 12 and 18, that they've never bought a CD, they've never bought a record, because the internet has shown them that they can get whatever they want for free. And if they like a single, they'll buy the single off iTunes. So
they just did a poll where they realized that kids between that Kurt Cobain was always dead to them.
yeah,
They never knew
no,
him as
no,
anything other than dead. And then you have, you know, when they think of Nirvana, they think of Dave Grohl. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
yeah,
You know? And then they don't know that the Stahl brothers, you know, Pete was in Goatsnake,
right,
and Franz was a Foo Fighters guitar player. They know Franz more than Pete, you know. And,
right. And before that, they were in a band. They were in the Scream
Scream.
with Dave Grohl in like 1986 or 1987.
Well, what's exactly the difference between, like, where's physical distribution going now?
Physical distribution, a lot of it's going to the internet. There's less and less record stores that are carrying product. The ones that do carry product are the stores that are always going to champion music. Those are stores like Rotate This in Toronto, like Soundgarden in Baltimore, like Dr. Nzer. These are stores that are there for the long haul. They're there because they love music and they want to turn people onto music. They carry vinyl, they carry CDs. If you go in and you say, I like this band and I like this band, can you suggest something to me? They'll have no problem saying, sure, you should check this out, or you should check this out, or do you know about this new band? And the internet will give you the, check this out if you like this. But I find that the internet doesn't work as well as having a human being say that to you. Someone who has a taste in music, and most record stores will have the hard rock person, the dance person, the rap person, someone with an opinion that knows the market, that knows what to buy in, what will sell, what is good, what isn't good. Whereas on the internet, a lot of it is just kind of, it's just there.
Where's where Sonic Onion fit into general indie record label? I don't want to call it indie because I think that it'd be actually downplaying just the importance of Sonic Onion.
Sonic Onion is a total indie record label.
Still, it seems to be that, like,
even more now than a few years ago. We've no major label ties. We're distributed in Canada by ourselves and by FAB in Quebec. We're it's more of a slog now after 19 and a half years than it was in the beginning. It's a lot harder to sell records in 2012 than it was in 1993, 1992. When this label started, there was a huge explosion of music from bands like Nirvana and the whole grunge explosion, but there was also the death metal explosion with Obituary, Morbid Angel. Napalm Death sold 100,000 records in the U.S. in 1993, when apparently metal was dead. So, they're definitely that was a time when things just sold, and it's funny because we have records now that would have sold much better had they come out 10 years ago than they do now, but there's just not the marketplace, and there's not as many stores carrying the records, and it's almost harder for people to get records. People have to mail order records from a label if they're interested in a band now. You can't walk into HMV and find every record you want like you could 15 years ago, because they also have books and t-shirts and iPods and video games and DVDs and Blu-rays, and then they have music over in a little corner.
What's music?
What's music?
Well, the way I look at it too has always been Sonic Unyon has been a name that since I was a kid, living here in Canada, it's just like if you were looking for music and you wanted to get into a certain genre specific stuff, Sonic Unyon, this Dr. Disc next door has always been brought up. Sonic Unyon being probably one of the most important labels to come out of Canada, strictly because of the longevity that's been coming. That's going to continue.
I'm so involved in it. I don't know. I've been here for 15 years. It's nice to know that we're thought of that way, but I mean, really, it's day to day here. We just try to do the best you can for every record that you put out, and try and hope that the new record by a band gets more notice than the last record, and they get some more press, and they sell some more records, and they get on some better tours. But we don't have time to think about longevity, to be perfectly honest.
It's a day-to-day grind.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Well, what about what's some stuff right now that's keeping afloat that you think that's doing well?
We put out a record in May by a female doom duo called Mares of Thrace. It's doing really well. Lots of press worldwide. Actually, there's a thing coming out in UK Metal Hammer. It should be out in a week or two. They just had a big feature in Decibel magazine. The record was top 10 at US Metal College Radio for 4 weeks in a row. Even the people we hired to work it in the States, they couldn't believe how well it did. They were like, this is awesome. That's doing really well. We have a bunch of records coming out in a few weeks. We have a Change of Heart 2 LP retrospective. We're only doing 500 LPs, and then the rest is digital. But they've never had an album available on iTunes. In fact, the band was together from 82 to 97. So there's a lot of excitement about that. People saying finally I'll be able to have digital copies of this. We have a new record by Hamilton's Young Rival coming out October 23rd. It will be their second record with us. And probably our biggest record of the year is going to be the second record by a Texas band called Ringo Death Star. And that comes out on September 25th, so in 3 weeks. And they're doing a 5-week North American tour, including a date in Windsor at Fog Lounge. So that'll be October 11th, I think. And they toured Europe opening for the Smashing Pumpkins last year. They were personally asked by the band to open for them. They played to 15,000 people in Japan at Fuji Rock. So there's a lot of stuff going on with that band, and we're really excited about the record and where things. We also put out records this year. I should mention too. We put out a record by Frank Black of the Pixies and his wife called Grand Duchy. It's a bit of a dance record, a little bit experimental for what we normally do, and we put out another electro record by members of the old Sonic Unyon band Thrush Hermit called Camouflage Nights, and it sounds More like Beck's Midnight Vultures than anything Fresher would ever do.
Nice. I guess lastly, what's going on now? I mean, you were saying you gotta ship off to Guelph today.
Yeah.
Is that?
I'm going to Guelph today to do what you're doing right now. I'm gonna be part of a documentary crew that is doing a documentary on a promoter that's doing his last show ever, and he got 4 bands to reunite to do the show. Sold out in 5 hours, much to everyone's surprise. So I don't know what to expect. I got asked to do it, and I actually was in Windsor a couple of weeks ago filming for Scion AV, the car company. They interviewed, there's an internet-based metal and punk label called Mosh Pit Tragedy.
Rainy.
Yeah, Rainy.
Yeah,
and I went and interviewed Rainy
Awesome.
for that.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
doing that, outside of work, I run a metal webzine called Hellbound. It's at hellbound.ca. So that keeps me pretty busy. And
Gruesome Greg.
What's that?
Gruesome Greg.
Yeah, Gruesome Greg writes for me. He's written about your band, I believe, on our site.
What do you think about? Do you ever see CDs going the way of vinyl, or do you think vinyl's just an entity on its own and it's be there as a collector's? The CD's going to come and go as like a laser disc or a mini DVD or like mini CD.
I think what's going to happen with CD, my own personal opinion, certain bands will always get CDs, but I don't think you're going to be able to go and buy CDs in HMVs anymore. It's going to be mom and pop stores, or it's going to be Amazon. But I think at some point in the near future, CDs are going to go way down in value. And then they're going to become collectible, and they're going to go way back up in value. Kind of the same way that vinyl did. But I think that vinyl as a medium is more of a collector's medium than CDs are. CDs are pieces of aluminum. Give me a record. Obviously this one doesn't have anything. But give me a record and give me a CD, and if this was a full cover, what is cooler? It's way cool to have a big 12 by 12 piece of artwork, hopefully a gatefold. It's got lyrics inside it, or you can get no offense to this band, but it's just a digipack. I mean, these things I lose CDs. I have thousands of CDs in my house. I don't know where half of them are, but I never lose a record. Look how big it is. Maybe it's because maybe that's just better for me because I'm old and forgetful. But I think vinyl is always going to have a market, and I think that a lot of the people that had CDs are going to be just as happy to go move to digital and not have 4,000 CDs on a shelf anymore.
And I guess lastly, if you could just tell us your name and the company and all that stuff.
My name's Sean Palmerston. I work at Sonic Onion Records. I've been here for 15 years. I also used to write about metal for Exclaim magazine, for Metal Maniacs, for Unrestrained, for Vice. I used to write for the local rag here in Hamilton, View magazine, and I do a radio show on Sunday nights too. I've been doing it for 7 years at Indie 101 in Hamilton.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's all right.